Hello and welcome to yet another episode of The Grind with me, your host, Hibak Said. This week we're focusing on a very special topic. We're talking about women entrepreneurs, how exactly they've made it. This is a special edition. We already have the CEO of CEOs. Lillian, I'll let you introduce yourself because I don't think I could do justice to you.
Thank you so much, Hibak Said. I'm so happy to be with you today. My name is Lillian Atho, the CEO of the year 2023 Middle East and Africa and a Female Founders Initiative. I am glad to be with you here. I am the CEO and the group founder of Realtime Global. Realtime Global is a conglomerate of 7 companies. We have Realtime Restaurants and Outside Caterers, we have Realtime Tours and Travel, we have Realtime Pharmaceuticals, we have Realtime Logistics, we have Realtime Security, and we all sum it up as an CSR of Realtime Foundation that we use to give back to the society. Thank you.
Lillian, we'll go into your journey a little bit later in this particular episode, but first, you have so many accolades, you have so many notches in your belt. Female Founders CEO of the year 2023. Which one would you say is your favorite? Which one hit you the most?
Wow, thank you. The one that hit me the most was CEO of the year. That really took it off. And remember, it's Middle East and Africa. So I was standing there holding my trophy, feeling so excited. I didn't know what to say. I was literally in tears in Johannesburg when I received it. And it's the most beautiful thing that I received last year.
And before you won these accolades, of course, you've had a very long journey. As an entrepreneur, what was your journey like?
Not very easy, just like any other entrepreneur. But I must tell you, I have been a hands-on in my businesses all the years. From the year 2006 to date, I literally try to do my things personally. I don't like delegations, but I have tried to bring my entrepreneurship as per the need at the time. I know next you're going to ask me why 7 companies.
Yes.
It's 7 companies because each time I saw a need, I didn't go to look for somebody to do the need for me. I stepped into the need myself. I literally took the monkey by its balls, put it on my back, and just started off.
And of course, you identified gaps, in society, in the community. You came up with businesses, and a lot of grinders who are watching this, of course, are going to be taking a few notes from you. What would you say are your guiding principles as an entrepreneur?
As an entrepreneur, don't get into business because everybody's doing it. Try to always get into business because of a need. I want to give you a short pic of what I did. I had a restaurant and I was supplying a government institution with food. In the institution, they needed somebody to do tours and travel ticketing. That's when I registered my tours and travel company because then there was a need for tickets. Now, inside the same place, I was having a restaurant as the medical board. Somebody else needed hospital equipment. I got in because there was the need. So I don't get in because Habik is doing it. No, I get in because there is a need.
Right.
Yeah.
And necessity is the mother of all inventions. You see people need something, you come in, you fill that spot. Yes. What would you say maybe are some of the people or institutions that have, helped you come through this journey and become who you are right now?
Wow, special thanks goes to Sarah Serem. If you remember, the chairperson of Salaries and Remuneration Commission, she first gave me my business of tours and travel. And I used to give her food. I used to supply the commissioners with food at lunchtime. So we would cook in the restaurant, take it to her, and she made me jump into the next one of now doing tours and travel tickets. And still at the medical board, I managed through a few doctors, very incredibly, the late Professor Magoha encouraged me to start doing medical equipment. So these are 2 people that they may never know that they have an impact in what I have today, but they really have an impact. And then a supportive family. That I must tell you for sure. Yeah.
Which is very important.
Thank you.
The journey hasn't been easy, obviously.
Yes.
What are some of the challenges you've gone through?
Crazy challenges, I can tell you. There are times I've closed down. For example, 2020, we were literally out of tours and travel. There was a travel ban. There were no restaurants working, if you remember, but I stood by one company. My pharmaceutical pulled me out because then I was bringing in the masks and everything else that people needed to be able to survive the COVID. There are times that we don't know where we are going to get salaries to pay. Why? We have supplied a government institution. Governments don't pay every morning. Could pay you after 6 months.
Right.
Could pay you after 1 year. And the bank does not want to listen to that. And your staff have been working. How are you going to be telling them, you know, we have given all this service and it's 3 months later we haven't been paid? So finance has not been easy. It's really not been easy. And I think there need to be a way that the government would make it easier by so saying that if it's 30 days payment term, they stick to it. Then they have to wait for an exchequer, which comes once in a quarter, and you just messed up. If there would be a system that if you supply between the month, you're either paid on the 15th or you're paid at the end of the month, business would be so beautiful. Because by the time they hold your money for 6 months, your profits are gone. You've tried to borrow left, right, and center. You're paying monies at very, very expensive rates. Yeah.
You've said 7 businesses, a conglomerate of businesses. Yes. These businesses are in very different sectors. You have pharmaceuticals, of course. On this other side, there's catering. On this other side is tours and travels. How do you balance between these different businesses?
I take you back to what I said first, because each of them came with a necessity. So I don't have to start asking, how do I get tickets? Because tickets came and I made a business in the tickets. Then from the tickets, I did pharmaceuticals. I want to give you a last one, that is the logistics. It's the newest baby of all my companies. Female founders took us to China, and we realized that most African countries were struggling with bringing their goods into Africa, from China to South Africa, to Zimbabwe, to Malawi, and all these places. That's how I just did not start logistics, but I opened an office in China. The same way I then went and opened an office in South Africa because of the tours and travel, and there's no visa from most African countries into South Africa. So the need makes it very easy. It becomes at your fingertips because you are doing something that is required. I'm not going to start, for example, I can't start tailoring today because I don't have the need for tailors, and if anything, everybody is tailoring. At the same time, I give back to female founders because out of the collaboration, I've been able to expound my business to various countries and continents. Yeah.
Well, that's a very interesting tidbit that a lot of people might not know. It's not only in Kenya, it's in Africa. Your businesses go almost global.
Yes.
Where exactly do you see your businesses going? Maybe even in the next 5 years?
Wow. The moment I stepped into the United States last year in September and set up an office in Texas, I knew there's nothing that I can't do. I'm hoping that real-time global would really become global. That if you step in UK, you'd find an office. If you are in Asia, you'd find an office. If you are in Europe, you'd find an office. And like right now, I am a speaker in Paris in the Women Global Summit on the 8th of March. I can tell you that for free. And we are discussing global expansion of women businesses. Yes.
In your journey, of course, this is a special episode. It's about women entrepreneurs. What do you think are some of the things that you've gone through uniquely as a woman in your journey that maybe men cannot relate to?
Initially, it was very difficult, I can tell you, because if I didn't have a supportive family, I can tell you for sure it was not easy. This is a teacher who is getting out of school to start traveling the world. And I know nobody, but I'm just going in to try and see what is there for me. So it's not been an easy journey. There are people who said, you're gonna crash. There are people who said, this is not normal. So I always tell people, it took even my late parents to come and really figure out, what is she doing? We took her to school to be a teacher. What is this she's selling on the streets? Yeah, so that's how it has been. It's not been very easy.
To the female grinders who are watching this particular episode, they're probably watching you right now. They're thinking, how can I get to that level? When will I get to that level? As a starter, as a beginner, what would you tell them to take?
The starting point must always be there. And if your starting point is too easy, then you're going nowhere. It must be challenging. You must have a challenging starting point in order to be able to learn the nitty-gritties of your business from the start. And don't be a copy-paste, copycat person. Because Miss Said is doing that, I also want to do that. Do not try that. get the need. And I'll tell women, come out, look for needs. There'll always be needs. What is the prayer of the person who builds coffins?
That people die.
Thank you. And what is the need of a doctor? What is the doctor's prayers?
To heal people, of course,
Thank
for
you.
sick people to come
so
through.
they are very different.
Right.
So the need for my business will not be the same as the needs for your business if you just take time to get a business that is in need and come out. Let us all champion for proper funding. I thank the Kenyan government. We have 30% for women in business, the AGPO, but it's not enough.
Right.
If they can add more, women are more articulate. Women take steps in things that they do. If you go to a business run by a woman, it's very different from the men. For us, we are so much hands-on as opposed to the men.
Right. Yes. Which is very essential, especially in ensuring longevity of businesses. Maybe one line, as we finish up, maybe one line that you live by. What's a quote that you live by?
To always deliver my services in time.
Right.
Hence my name, Real Time.
Real time.
So real time is real time.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting us here. Thank you so much for engaging with us here on The Grind, the special edition. Of course, we're going to be touching on other entrepreneurs in this particular episode, and we're going to be telling you how exactly, they've fared on in their businesses, their journeys. But first, let's take a very short break. We'll be right back.
Na safari hii katika Mfahamu Kiongozi tutakuletea viongozi aina mbalimbali.
Nikuwe na Nisani kama 10 na pia nikuwe menua minibus. Minibus niko niwa.
Kushinda unaangalia simu ya mzee. Soma Biblia ama ingia kwa washroom ujisugue. Mpaka nimetoa hivi.
I don't know whether any of my children would want to get into the political field. Sijajua bado.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30 kuendelea.
Join us on a journey through the concrete jungles and rising skylines, where every beam, every nail tells a story of progress and vision.
In every aspect of life, you have to look at several dynamics.
From ground
From that very short break, welcome back to The Grind. If you were following up on the very first part, or if you're just joining us, we had Lillian Arthur telling us her story, and of course, this is a special edition considering at the end of this week, we're going to be having Women's Day. If you could just start by introducing yourself, Madam Salome. You present, or you are a representative of the Radiant Group of Hospitals. How has your journey been like?
Thank you, and you're most welcome to the Radiant family, TV47. My name is Salome Shira. I am the founder and the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Radiant Group of Hospitals. It has not been easy. Mine is a journey because I have come from far. If that is anything that would describe me. Born in Nyeri and in an ordinary home, and I got the psych into healthcare because of 2 key things. One, I got this cut when I was a young girl, very young girl. I think I was cooking, and then I got a cut where I ended up losing, I think, a tendon or something. And the journey of going to the hospital, the district hospital, every day for a jab, and that was the era when the injections or the jabs or the needles were actually boiled, not what we have currently. No, that was then. Yeah, before we didn't have the disposable needles, we had metal needles that were being boiled. So you can imagine they were not as sharp. So and I ended up getting a gluteal abscess. So how I was getting treated when the abscess was being treated or being nursed made me get the psyche of wanting to do it better. Plus two, I had an auntie in the same hospital. And the day she treated my abscess was better than all the other days, and therefore she stands out as my role model then. So even in primary school, when we would be asked what people want to be, I was categorical that I want to be a nurse. I never ever wanted to be a doctor. I never wanted to be a pilot or an engineer. I chose nursing from the word go. So that compassion, that wanting to take care and change a life in healthcare, I think is something that I started off from a very long time ago.
Right. Salome, maybe if you could just tell us, of course your journey has been quite unique. What would you think, or what would you say are some of the milestones and principles that has guided you through this journey in your entrepreneurial journey?
The milestones are many, but I think I would want to narrow down probably to a few. And one of the milestones is growth. Okay? One of the milestones is growth. I have seen Radiant grow, or I have grown. Even the mere fact that I came from a nurse, because I am a nurse, I am a BSN nurse professionally, the switch, the mindset switch from bedside nursing care to sitting in an office and running a reputable company like Radiant Group of Hospitals in itself was not very easy. So that switch is one of the milestones. The growth started off with partners. They were all men, and buying them off again was another milestone, because it was not easy to bring down 5 men and end up buying them off in the business. And then the fact that I have seen Radiant grow from a single branch, which was across the road. It was on 2 floors. Everything else was non-functional. Even lab, we only had 1 microscope with a problem on power 10. And then growing and seeing different departments, growth from now just being a clinic. You have lab, you have theater, you have ICU, you have HD, and now growing to 5 level 4, level 5 hospitals. Again, that is another milestone that I would talk about. Another milestone that I would talk about is seeing young men and women under my hands grow into leadership, because I am very, very careful on talent management. Then another milestone is seeing patients come in Radiant and get out when they are well.
Of course, your journey has been a bit tumultuous. You are saying that you do a lot of talent management. What would you say are some of the challenges that you have gone through, considering you've said 5 branches right now? What are some of the challenges that you've gone through as a woman entrepreneur? And of course, what are some of the ways in which you nurture the talents that you have?
Okay. Thank you. Challenge number 1 is managing that growth. Unlike before, when I was sitting in 1 branch and I would wake up and do my management by walking around and see every corner, the cleaner has cleaned. Now there are 5 branches located 10 kilometers apart from each other. So that juggling, that you have to have people that you trust to run the show the way you would want it, is not a very easy thing. The other thing is, you get talents, you grow them, you even take people to training on leadership and management, and then the next thing, staff has pulled that move of I am leaving to the competitor. That's a huge challenge, and especially on the levels of our businesses where we are not yet there. We have bigger brothers or bigger boys, yeah? Then the other one is, of course, relationship management. We work quite a bit with partners, the insurances, the companies, and that connection and making sure that you are aligned to their objective and you offer quality care then is again not very easy. It's a huge challenge. Then of course the fourth and probably very major challenge right now is of course the economic situation. Healthcare has not been left out. It has not been left out. So it's all over the media houses that even the government hospitals, which are supported from the exchequer, are struggling. So if they are struggling, what happens to the private entities like Radiant Hospital that is purely dependent on, you know, on the same corporates, the same government, you know, yeah. So that's a huge right now. It's actually the major headache.
Right. Now, when you're thinking about the future, of course, a lot of grinders watching this episode right now have seen your journey. They look up to you. What exactly would you tell them are the steps that they should be taking? And where do you see the future of Radiant Group of Hospitals?
Thank you once again. Let me start with the last one. The future of Radiant Group of Hospitals is very bright. It's just a matter of putting through now, and I am trusting that even as a country we will get out of this situation that we are currently in. And the future is very bright. The big dream is to not just be in Kenya, but even to go beyond our borders in Kenya, because we pride ourselves in quality and very affordable health care. You come in, you get international standard care, but it's affordable and it is pocket friendly. So the future is big. There is diversification. We have already started thinking about the schools, you know, the medical college, that's work in progress and almost there. Already registered with TVET and are waiting to get the registrations by the Nursing Council and all the other bodies. So the future is bright. Once we get out of this turmoil, because this space is murky now, but I can see some light at the end of the tunnel, and I am hopeful that in collaboration with the policy makers, they will be able to appreciate that private healthcare is important in Kenya, so that even this universal healthcare can also succeed. That is what I would say.
Right, and the young ladies who are watching you right now, and this is the final question, so as we start to conclude, the young ladies who are watching you right now, very soon we will be having International Women's Day. What would you tell them?
The young women that are watching me, women must get out of that cocoon of thinking that they are lesser. We are not unfortunate. We are not any less. We have capacity. So it's a matter of believing in ourselves. So what happens? I am a woman. I would want to empower as many women. Of course, I'm not saying I empower them biasly. They must be also up to the task. If I give you the role of being, for example, the chief of staff, you must deliver. And I'll be able to work with you and empower you. You know? We must also be able to promote diversity and inclusion, you know. We must also be able to make sure that people believe in themselves. And I think that is what is very important. The minute you trust yourself and you go for it, then you're good to go. I have this feeling, and I mean, this is books that say that women can do many things. The way we are wired, our brain. So if only we stepped up and we trusted in ourselves and we walked the talk and we got certain that we are capable, without necessarily thinking that this is a man or a man has to do this for me to get here, I think it would be good to go. Women would really stand out, even in leadership, I believe. And we must stop being enemies of each other, because that's another huge challenge that we have as women. Yeah.
Right, as women, we should be putting, we should be putting our foot on the pedal as well. It's not a man's world, it's a man and woman world. Thank you so much, Salome. Those are the sentiments of Salome, the head of a Radiant group of hospitals, just telling us how her journey has been. We are highlighting entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, their journeys, and of course you can take, advice or guidance from them according to whatever business you must be partaking in. Thank you so much for being a part of The Grind this week. Until next week, same time, same place, my name is Hibak Said. Have yourselves a lovely night.
We value your
Na safari hii katika Mfahamu Kiongozi tutakuletea viongozi aina mbalimbali.